Everything is always your fault, all the time. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the concept of taking 100% self accountability. Now, I have a framework laid out for you. I have 5 steps at the end of this video that you can implement today to start your journey towards 100% self accountability. Game changing. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Damien Alvarez. I am on a self development journey. I share my findings with you here, so hopefully you can pick a thing or two up and improve your life alongside mine. Now, before we get into it, happy Easter Sunday. Today is March 31st. Now, I know this video was supposed to go out last week, but I was traveling and I had some things to do, so I didn't get around to it. So I'll be recording 2 different videos today. But let's get right into it. So 100% self accountability. Now, what I want to do first to start off to paint this picture in your head is I want to start off with a little situation, a little scenario. So imagine you have 2 different people and they are both 25 years old. They are both twins. One's name is Tom and one's name is Bob. Now, Tom takes 100% self accountability for everything that happens in his life, no matter what it is, and Bob does the exact opposite. So he blames his situation for everything. He takes no self accountability. He takes no responsibility for his actions or anything that happens in his life. And we are going to kind of see how they play out in a situation. So now imagine these 2 people have a mother and she contracted a rare disease, right? She's only been given 4 months to live. Now, seemingly there's nothing you can do to stop this or to prevent it from happening, but let's see how Tom and Bob both react to the situation. So since Tom's mentality bears some full responsibility for everything and anything that happens in his life, he takes 100% unadulterated self-accountability for the situation, right? Even though he didn't cause it, even though there's nothing in his life that he could have done to seemingly prevent it, he still takes 100% self-accountability for this thing that happens in his life because that's just the way that he's wired, right? So what do you think Tom would do to start? Now, he may start doing research. He may start trying to find cases around the world where this disease was contracted on different people, see how they handled it, see what caused it, see what they found out about it. And among his research, he found out that in every single case around the world where this thing happened, all of them were over consuming this one specific type of food. So Tom puts 2 and 2 together. He figures that this food may be the main contributor towards this disease. So equipped with this new information, he tells all of his immediate family and friends to stop eating this certain food to avoid getting this disease. Right. He also found that there was one case a few years ago where someone contracted this disease, and through overdosing vitamin D3, the patient lived 10 times longer than the doctors expected that she would. Now, with this information, Tom has actionable steps to try to fix and solve the situation at hand, even though there's seemingly nothing that he can do. But through taking 100% self accountability for everything that happens in his life and saying everything is his fault, he now has things that he may be able to do to either help or cure the situation at hand. Now, Bob, on the other hand, is a polar opposite of Tom, right? So he takes 0% accountability for his actions. He doesn't take responsibility for anything going on in his life. Even though this is seemingly a situation where you have no control over it, Bob does everything in his power to avoid taking responsibility for it. So what do you think that his next steps are? He's definitely not doing any research. He's definitely not reaching out to people that have the disease and seeing what they did to fix it. He's not consulting any doctors or finding out any new information. All he's doing is sitting in the corner, bitching and moaning, and making the problem worse for everyone in the room involved. So even though there's nothing that either of these people could really do to help the situation, through Tom's 100% self accountability mindset, he has actionable steps to try to work towards to fix it, while Bob is just being a nuisance for everyone else around him and making the situation worse. Now, the example may seem extreme, but there's people all across the world who face this situation every single day. You'd honestly be shocked at how good your life is, even if it seems like it's really shit right now. So you may be thinking to yourself, oh, in that situation, I would definitely be a Tom. I would be doing everything I can to help the situation. But in reality, if you've never considered the idea of 100% self accountability, you probably fall closer to Bob than a Tom. And that's okay, because you've never considered the idea of 100% self accountability. You've never really faced that fact in your life. You've never tried to do anything like that. So it's okay that you're unaware. But the first step in solving anything in your life is to recognize that a problem does exist. That being said, I believe one of the most important things you can do in your life to start taking control of it is to develop a routine of self-analysis. So I have a series of questions for you that you can answer right now. And just in your head, in my article, I ask you to write down on a piece of paper the answers. But if you're watching the video, just go ahead and do this in your head. So question number 1, when something bad happens in your life, what is your natural reaction? Question number 2, if you were to be fired from your job / lose your main source of income, how would you react? Question number 3, if your significant other / parent got a terminal illness tomorrow, how would you react? Question number 4, when someone comes to you with a problem, is your natural response to sympathize or to solve? And the last and final question, number 5, have you ever asked yourself, why me, or why do bad things happen to good people? Now, we've all fallen victim to it. We've all asked ourselves those questions. Why me? Why do good things happen to, or why do bad things happen to good people, et cetera, et cetera? But the fact of the matter is, bad things happen to good people all the time, and the only way that we can get around them in this life is to take 100% self-accountability for everything that happens in our life. Now, if you're honest with yourself, the answers to these questions may seemingly surprise you. It's quite likely that you're a very reactive person at your core. We typically all are, especially my male audience. The masculine essence is to be very reactive and very explosive, but the first step into steering your life in a way you want it to go is to act in a way where you are in control of everything that happens to you. And the number one thing you can start doing to make that happen is to start taking 100% self-accountability for every single thing that happens in your life, good or bad. Now, a few common objections that we hear when we're talking about self-accountability is, oh, that's not my fault. There's nothing I could have done. I tried my best. But these are all just excuses at their essence, right? They're all just facades that you put in front of you to try to avoid the real situation at hand, which is that you don't know how to take self-accountability. And that's okay, because I'm going to tell you 5 steps here pretty soon that you can implement today to start taking self-accountability for your actions. Now, the way out of this whole mind trap of blaming circumstance for your situation at hand or blaming other people for things that happen in your life is just a mentality shift. At its core, that's literally all it is. Just telling yourself in your mind that everything that happens in your life is your fault, no matter what it is, bottom line. Everything is always your fault all the time, no matter what. Now, it may seem pretty harsh. It may seem masochistic. It may seem sadistic, but it's the only way that you can really take full control of your life, in my opinion. If you blame everything else for your situation, if you blame circumstance for things that are happening to you, if you never take accountability for the bad and good things that happen in your life, then you are just allowing life to blow you in whatever way it wants to go. You really have no control over your future. You have no bearing on your destiny. You don't have any sense of direction when you're just letting life take you whatever way it wants to go. You have to start taking full and unadulterated accountability for everything that happens in your life, good and bad, in order to start controlling the outcome of your life. If it starts raining and you get wet, it's not the rain's fault. Yes, it's raining outside and the weather's pretty bad, but you could have taken an Uber. You could have brought an umbrella. You could have left the house earlier. You could have went a different way. You could have done a bunch of different things to avoid getting wet. When your car breaks down, it's not your car's fault. You could have done maintenance. You could have taken your car in to get a checkup on it. You could have recognized the signs. You could have learned more about cars. There's a bunch of different things that you can do to avoid these things happening in the future. And the first step to realizing that it's a problem in your life is to identify it as a problem and know that there is a way to solve it. No matter what the situation is, you need to take 100% self-accountability for every single thing that happens in your life. Now, throughout this whole video so far, I've been talking about just taking accountability for all the seemingly losses that happen in your life, all the bad things, car breaking down, the rain, your mom getting a sickness, stuff like that. But the good thing about this whole mindset that I'm trying to tell you about is that you also take accountability for all your wins as well. Even something as small as waking up on time this morning. That's a huge win for some people. If you consistently oversleep and you can't seem to ever get out of bed, the one day that you wake up on time and you spring out of bed and you get right to work, that's a win. You need to realize that that's forward momentum. It's pushing you forward, and you need to recognize that as a huge win in your life. Even something like signing a new client or landing a new job or closing a new deal, that's a huge W. You need to take 100% self-accountability for that result. You need to realize why it happened, what steps you did to get there so you can replicate them. Now, this mindset will allow you to start having gratitude for your wins, as well as actionable steps for your losses that you can take so you don't lose consistently. When you have this mindset, you put time on your side. All right, so think about it. If you're losing all the time and you're never taking accountability for your losses, then you're just going to keep losing. You're going to keep making the same mistakes. You're going to keep falling into the same traps every single time something happens, and you're never going to learn from it. If you're consistently losing right now, and you start taking accountability for your actions, then you can learn from your mistakes, you can learn from your losses, learn what to do to avoid those losses, and stop doing them over time, right? Time is against all of us at the end of the day. It's the most valuable resource that any of us have on this earth. Adapting a mindset where you take 100% self-accountability for everything that happens in your life only puts time on your side rather than against you. Since I've adapted the framework of taking 100% self-accountability for every single thing that happens in my life, good or bad, my life has changed dramatically for the better. I now realize when I make mistakes so I don't make them again in the future. I now realize when I make wins so I know how to replicate that in the future. Before adapting this mindset of taking accountability for everything that happens, I would constantly be pushing my problems off and saying, oh, it's just this, this thing just happened to me because this, and that, and this person, it's his fault, it's not even my fault. But that just makes you victim of circumstance, which is a place that no one wants to be. Adapting this mindset, especially when you're young, is the best thing you can do to set yourself up for future success. Now, I have 5 tips for you to start taking more control of your life and to adapt a 100% self-accountability framework installed in your mind. Now, the first step I have for you is you need to start small. Don't try to change your whole life overnight. All you're going to do is overwhelm yourself. The main thing I would recommend for you to start with at the beginning is just something as simple as body composition. Where are you at in your fitness and your health right now? Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Are you right where you want to be? Could you be more muscular? Etc., etc. Analyze that first because it's very simple to implement a plan to improve that. Do you need to eat more? Do you have to eat less? Do you have to start going to the gym? Etc., etc. It's a very simple thing you can do and start implementing today. Now, the second step I have for you is you need to start measurable. Going off the previous example of body composition, it's very easy to measure your nutrition and your exercise, right? Calories and minutes in the gym. Very, very simple. If you have no way to measure your progress, then you're going to make no progress at all. Because a lot of these things are changes that you need to make over a lifetime, not over a short period of time to see any sustainable difference in them. The third tip I have for you is to start following mentors, right? We all follow personalities online. We all know who's famous and who's not right now. You need to start adapting mentors that are going to have a positive influence on your life. So there's a bunch of people out there that you can follow who live seemingly great lives, who have great routines, who have great business, who have great partners, whatever you're looking for out of life, and you can start to see what they're doing on a daily basis to get that outcome. Now, copying their life verbatim will probably overwhelm you and get you to a point where you just quit and give up on everything. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. And also, everyone's different, right? So whatever's working for them may not work exactly for you, but there's definitely things that you can do from people that you follow online that will get you closer to where you want to be based off their life. Now, the fourth tip I have for you is you need to start self-analyzing. You need to go deep into your mental, deep into your psyche, and recognize why you're reacting the way that you're reacting, right? When things happen to you, you need to kind of take a step back from your body, take a step back from your thoughts, and recognize the feelings that you're having and the emotions that you're having and why you're having them. It's easy to blow up and just be reactive to a situation at hand, but if you take a step back and kind of realize why you're reacting that way instead of just reacting the way that you want to, it puts you in a better mindset to make the correct decision, right? It's like making decisions based off of logic rather than emotion. And sometimes emotional decisions are the right decisions, but if you take a step back and look at them from a logical perspective every single time, you will make better decisions over the long run. And the fifth and final step I have for you is you need to start taking on more. Right? Once you adapt small habits and you start seeing positive change in your life, you need to start doing more habits and implementing more things in your life that are going to get you to where you want to be. You don't want to stop at just one habit. You don't want to stop at just implementing one thing. You know, if the thing you're implementing in your life is reading before you go to bed, once you lock that in and you start seeing positive impact from that thing, you want to add a different thing in your life. Maybe you want to wake up a little bit earlier every single day. Once you start stacking these habits on top of each other and you start living a life that is systemized and you have a routine set in place, you will get a lot further than you think. Start boasting your wins, start learning from your losses, start being a better person today. Eventually, you'll have learned so much from all your losses that you'll be winning more often than you're losing. If you commit to taking full accountability for every single thing that happens in your life for the next 30 days, I promise you your life will never be the same. So that's pretty much all I had for you today. Taking 100% self-accountability is the #1 thing you can do in your life to start improving it. Now, I wrote a full article on this. If you want to read that, I will put it as the first link in the description. If you liked that, if you want to see more of me across social media, follow me at Damian Alvarez, but I will see you guys in the next one.